Coach, after that?
Yeah, we're really proud with how we responded. It was a little bit different way that we won tonight than what we've been doing here recently. Been really relying heavily on our pitching staff and the offense. Really responded in a big way. I was really proud how they, were able to respond every inning that East Carolina scored. Something we talk a lot about is responding, and we did just that. We scored every single inning from the sixth inning on. We got the big inning, which was really critical on his home run, and then we were able to get 3 big innings. So we scored first, we got to 7, and we won the big inning war. We do that, we're in good shape. These two guys and Pato were absolutely phenomenal tonight.
Questions for Colby and Sebastian?
Colby, just talk about your night, man, and just you could tell the emotion going through you, especially after that first home run, and then of course the grand slam, and just doing it against a team that you played for a couple of years, and all those guys. Just what the night meant for you.
Yes, it was not just big for me, but big for the program. The game was big for us. That gives you an opportunity to put yourself in a good position to get to the next place you want to go. But for me, I had a lot of emotion. Biggest crowd I've ever played in front of, so that had a lot to do with it. And I knew I needed to produce. We talk about it all the time. There's been times where I didn't produce as I should, and I think I finally came through in a good position.
You're on kind of power surge right now. What's been the key for you kind of unlocking that power that you've seen from the past before you got here?
I would also say it's just maturing in the game. I would say early on I wasn't as mature as I should be, and with the coaches and support staff helping me day in and day out, it allowed me to mature and learn more about myself in the game, and I think it's helped.
In what way specifically do you think you matured the most?
Swinging at strikes, not chasing, limiting the chases, hitting balls where they're pitched, because can't get away with cheating yourself at this level. You gotta do what you need to do.
Sebastian, Ethan Young was rolling pretty good, and second, third time you saw him, obviously he had success. How much more comfortable were you in those big at-bats? Get some good swings on them.
Yeah. I think approach-wise, staying consistent and knowing that you can kind of get your pitch if you stay committed to it, and I think that eventually that did happen, and staying just committed to that approach, you're eventually gonna get to where you want to be.
You have a team offense game like this where you score 18 runs and they only gave you 4 walks. You guys were just all over the barrel. But once that starts going, how does that feel as a member of that kind of deal? Once you feel that momentum going.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of baseball is contagious, and specifically leading off innings. When the first guy gets on, and you definitely feed off of that, and you can see that with our team especially. That's why leadoff at-bats are very important for us, and just coming up in your spot and staying focused when you're up at the plate. We understand it's so much more than our own stats. I know that the guy behind me is going to be fuel from that. So we play team baseball in that kind of way, that we're fired up for being able to produce for the team, but we know that the guy coming up behind us is going to feel that much better about the position we're in. So absolutely, it's contagious, definitely.
Sebastian, you've been on this team and this program for a while now. You guys are on the cusp of doing something you haven't done since 16. Being one of the leaders on this team, how are you going to help some of these other guys prepare for tomorrow night in terms of just managing the situation and knowing that it's still baseball when it comes down to it? You got 9 innings to figure it out, but you guys are in a pretty good spot. This is for both of you guys.
Absolutely. You said it's still 9 innings, and the bases are still 90 feet apart. And that's kind of what I'll say to some of the younger guys who might not have been in a position like this, is at the end of the day, it's another baseball game, and we bring this level of intensity, we bring this day in and day out. So we don't really need to rise to the occasion, and that's kind of what I say to guys is, treat this like any other game, and the moment is gonna come from your like dedication to treating it, like making it what it is.
Go way off, go right off of that too.
We preach consistency all the time, being consistent day in and day out. And I just think coming to the ballpark, sticking to our routines, being consistent, playing our brand of baseball, and if we execute our plan offensively and defensively, we'll be in a pretty good spot at the end of the night.
Well, Coach Galvin is very complimentary of you, the person you are, your relationship with Parker. Just, is it kind of awkward facing these guys? What's kind of those emotions like?
I wouldn't say it's awkward. There is a little bit of tension here and there just because of some of the situations that went on, but that's far gone. It's bigger than baseball. But I got plenty of guys on that team, coaches that I still love them. Just like my brother, I went through a whole year with them, and I wouldn't say that we butt heads. I would just say we parted ways and done it the right way.
Anything else from players?
One more for you, Colby. I mean, it looked like you guys, they threw their guys at you. A lot of velocity coming at you. It looked like you ambushed a few off-speed pitches. Was that, what was kind of your approach? Were you particularly hunting anything in particular in those at-bats?
Well, always on time for the fastball. But when I got to 2 strikes, the first at bat, they got me on a 1-0 changeup earlier in that bat, so I knew they would try to come back to it, and they did. And then just sticking to my approach of middle way, and if they hang it, get the barrel out and try to get it to the right center. And lucky enough that happened twice tonight.
Colby, you talked about the fans and playing in front of the biggest crowd you ever played in front of. And I've been here 11 years. I've never seen this place as packed as it was tonight. How did it feel down on the field in the dugout? Just the electricity of being down there and being in that environment.
Sometimes you couldn't even hear yourself think. I was surprised our pitchers could hear their pitch comm in their hat sometimes when it got so loud. But it was almost like you felt like a vibration on the field when things would go good for either team. The crowd would go crazy for both sides, and you would just feel the vibration. And that's something I'll never forget.
Sebastian, can you go off that too, since you've been here a while and you've been through a lot of home games as well?
Yeah, I would say when I showed up, I was looking, I'm seeing a lot of purple, and I'm thinking that, do they think this is their home game? But I know once we got rolling, our fans, we really showed up and really made that environment the best I've ever seen it. And it's, when you're in it, you're really focused on doing your part and ultimately winning the game. So there's not many moments you can kind of sit back and take it all in. But when we finished it off, it's kind of a rush at the end where you really kind of understand that this is a big deal for our team, but this university as a whole. We're doing things that have never been done before, breaking records and stuff. So, and I think we all understand that it's way more than ourselves and this team. It's bigger than that. It's the community and being able to show up for them. And yeah, that's, Coach says that people like to watch good baseball, so that's what we're going to keep doing.
Anything else for Colby and Sebastian? All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We got questions for Coach Snow.
Kevin, entering this week, you talked about home base percentage and just being patient at the plate, things along those lines about the way you guys have been all year long. Did it seem through the first 4 innings of this game that the approach was a little different? The guys were kind of rushing, and the approach in terms of trying to get on base was a little different. Did you sense that, and maybe were a little frustrated at some of the guys' approach at the dish?
No, not really. The guys that they threw at us had really good stuff, and I think a big part of that game was knocking Jenkins out in the 3rd inning and forcing them to go to Young as early as they did. But you talk about Seabass. I mean, that was a really big at bat. He was in a 2-strike hole versus a kid that almost has 2 strikeouts an inning, and for him in a 2-strike count to get that double down the line to tie the game for us to answer and respond after they just scored two was really big, and then that ultimately opened it up for a big inning. But all year long we've been playing so well because of our pitching. Our pitching has kept us in games, and it was really good to see the offense put the team on their shoulders tonight.
Coach, go back to Thorndike. I'm just curious about what you've seen in his growth. I mean, even in the fall, I know you guys were so excited you got here. I mean, you didn't have a great fall. For him to put it all together at the perfect time right now, what's been the key to that?
Well, Colby was the National Junior College Player of the Year last year, and Colby had an unbelievable summer. So we had very high expectations for Colby, and I just feel like Colby wore a lot of that early because he was trying to maybe do more than ultimately he's capable of doing. So it's been good. As he said, it feels like he's playing a little freer now. His mind's a little bit clearer, not trying to overthink, not trying to do too much, and he deserves this success because he's worked very hard.
Coach, maybe big picture for a moment. Sixth time in program history that one of your teams has eclipsed 50 wins. When you got the guys together and started the season in February, could you have envisioned this kind of season coming together?
Well, you never really think about 50 wins, but listen, there's high expectations, there's high standards at Coastal Carolina, and we lost a Hall of Fame head coach, which we knew was going to be tough to replace. But I say this a lot: we're very fortunate to have a university and athletic administration that gives us the resources. And the first thing that we did in June was assemble a staff, and I feel like we have one of the best staffs in the entire country. You're only good as the people that you surround yourself with, and I'm very fortunate to surround myself with some really good people. So yes, we were very confident that we were going to have an extremely successful season. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I thought we were going to win 50 games. Like you said, it's the sixth time in the program history. But tonight alone, there's a lot of records broke for this year. I mean, 6,400 people. Now we're at, we've broke 7 of the 10 attendance records in this year alone. That doesn't happen by accident. That's an athletic director and a staff that has a vision, that think outside the box, which has enhanced, the fan experience. Tonight we broke a single season record with hits, 20 hits, 18 runs. We hit 4 home runs, a lot of big things. But we're not done yet. I mean, we came here to win 3 games, and we've got 1 more game to go.
When you're out there, you're competing on it, but do you find yourself at any point looking around, as long as you've been at this place and seeing that atmosphere, feeling that electricity, did that kind of run through you here and there?
No, not really. I try to hide in the dugout. I don't need to go out there. I know there's a lot of people out there, and I'm more happy for our players and ultimately for the program. I've got a lot of pride in this program, and now I get a chance to sit back and reflect. 2001 when I started coaching and we won our first regional. I don't know if I've ever thought about this place having 6,400 people in it. It was an absolute competitive advantage that played a big role in our success tonight.
Kevin, your game plan, so to speak, for tomorrow, I'm assuming it's not going to veer off from what you've been doing because it's been working, but how do you get the players settled in to not worry about the hype of what tomorrow may bring and just realize it's just another game?
Well, we've won 20 in a row now, right? And we don't hide behind that. Very proud of that. To win 20 games in a row, you've got to be really consistent with everything that you do, and that's what this team has been, really consistent with everything they do. I don't foresee tomorrow being any different.
2 more for Coach.
Coach, Riley would be the logical starter for tomorrow. Is that set in stone? And also, how do you feel about the availability of a lot of players in the pool?
Well, I would say right now, outside of Potok, everybody should be available tomorrow. I'd have to, we'd have to dive in and see exactly where Horn's at, see how he's feeling for tomorrow. But I would assume everybody's available to tomorrow. We haven't made a final decision if Eichhoff is going to be our starter tomorrow. But as you said, that's the normal progression with our rotation, these three guys. So it's probably a good guess. Eichhoff will be going tomorrow, but we'll discuss it as a staff and make a final decision.